Hey everyone, it's Blockchain Bernie here, broadcasting live, or this time not live, it's actually a recording from Las Vegas. And this episode is about our incentivized DevNet, and I'll give you all the information about all the incentives that we have for our DevNet and how that whole thing works. And it's more like an FAQ for the incentivized DevNet. We've been getting so many questions, and we needed a little bit of time to come up with the incentive, with the exact incentives. So here they are now. So you can run a DevNet node. And what's our DevNet for? It is basically for, right now, it's for developing our blockchain, developing our validator, developing the validator client, connecting it with the storage blockchain and the storage client and all these type of things, right? So we don't want to test that just with a few servers in a cluster that we have, but we want to test it in an environment that's close to where it will run later on testnet and on mainnet. And we've been overwhelmed with you guys' interest in actually running these physical DevNet nodes, and that's awesome. So here's a little bit of more information. So you can either run it from home on our own software. There will be the Ansel 1 XD Plus, which is a model that Ansel, my other company, will offer, but you can get any type of hardware that meets the requirements. And the hardware requirements are on our website, Xandeum.com, and you go to resources and blog, and you find the blog post about the incentivized DevNet. You scroll to the bottom and you see all the hardware requirements there. It is always better to have better hardware. And I need to mention, many times that this will be not the requirements for later testnet and mainnet, right? So requirements might change, and for mainnet, probably you want to have some more horsepower there. But for DevNet, these will be fine. 4 cores, 16 gigs of RAM, and hopefully a terabyte of fast SSD. Best thing would be NVMe. And you can either run it from home, get some hardware that meets these requirements, or maybe you have some hardware still. So that's fine. And or you can host it somewhere, right? So we have a few hosting providers that we work with. There is Namecheap, which is a great provider, but they only have one data center in Phoenix, Arizona. So we want a little bit of geographic distribution here. So, we don't want everyone to go to Namecheap. We have Latitude, and we're talking with another hosting company called servers.com. So most likely we will have a great offering for the DevNet there with them. And they have so many data centers all over the world, so you can pick a location there. And, it might be a good idea to go with a hosting company because there you have all the bandwidth, right? So if you do it at home, we require at least 10 megabits per second, both download and upload. Download is oftentimes not so much the problem with home internet, but upload 10 megabits can be a challenge depending on your plan and depending on where you live. So we have that. Then the other question was, can anyone run a DevNet node? Yeah, so if you have one of our node licenses, and remember, we at Xandeum, we have that model of nodes and node licenses. So everyone who has purchased a node license, and 100% of the proceeds for selling node licenses goes to the development of the Xandeum chain, right? So, and if you have a node license, you are entitled to run a DevNet node, right? So, but you want the incentivization, right? So if you have a node license, you will get currently like 50 Xand per day anyway for one founders node, right? If you have 2 founders nodes, it's 100 Xand per day, and so on and so forth. But we make this an incentivized DevNet, right? So you can boost that rewards factor by up to 50x, right? And that's going to be the same thing that we had for the launch a week ago, right? So the first one that gets an additional license. So here's the thing, right? If you want that boost, you'll get an additional license, which helps us develop the chain. And in return for the first one that comes, we'll give them a 50x boost. So you will get that 50 Zand per day because you already have a license from before. If you get a new one after the Devnet launch, then you can get up to a 50x boost, right? So that will be, you will, in addition to the 50 Zand you earn anyway per founders node, right? You will get another 2,500 per day, right? For that incentivized DevNet. And think about it, it's like 2,500 a day, right? So that's 25,000 times 3, it's 75,000 a month, right? And we're guaranteeing this incentive over a period of 6 months if you have your validator up and running on DevNet and are validating transactions and these things. So man, if you really think about it, the first one that gets that additional node, and we still have the 42% rebate, right, for getting nodes right now. So you get a lot of incentives. You get the 42% rebate for buying another node, and then you can get a 50x boost. So you're making a lot of Zand, and it's almost like 500,000 Zand in over the next 6 months that you can make with that, and all for that one node that costs $5,500 right now, but you get 42% back of that, right? So effectively, you're only paying like 2,800, or I don't know, do the math yourself. And for that, you get almost 500,000 Zand for running your DevNet node. I mean, if that isn't a deal, I don't know. That's a huge, huge incentive that we're building here. And the second one that buys that additional node will still get a 49x boost of their rewards. And then the third one will get a 40x boost and all these type of things. So it's a big, big, big incentive to run a physical DevNet node so that we can keep developing our chain and have a cluster, a real DevNet cluster. And the purpose of the DevNet cluster in the future will be for app developers, right? So once our chain is live, there will be all these Web3 app developers developing on Xandeum, and they can use the DevNet then later on to test their apps, right? Right now, it's more internally for us because we're developing the blockchain, and we'll be adding functionality as we go. So when we're launching right now, it will basically be a fork of Solana, and there won't be many changes there to the actual Solana validator software. And then we're adding step by step, we're adding that permissions layer to make sure that you get the benefits from having bought your node, and you can actually run these things. And we're adding the actual storage layer, and we're adding the move language to make it easy to use the storage layer. And we're adding that second blockchain that actually does the actual storage that's delegated to the storage providers out there, right? So with those incentives, right? I've been asked, some people have tens of nodes, hundreds of nodes, all these type of things, right? So each wallet, each person can run up to 6 validators on the DevNet, right? So that means if you have a platinum node, which is just another word for 6 founders nodes, you can run up to 6 validators. If you have 3 founders nodes, you can run 3. And you can stack your licenses, right, and get the rewards boost for all of these, right, but only up to 6, right? So if you have 500 founders nodes, or if you have 200 platinum nodes, you cannot get all these rewards. You would kind of drain all our treasury with that, right? So you can do up to 6. So every person that has a platinum node can run 6 nodes and get 6x the benefits with that boost factor. But here's the thing, for running the physical validator and to get that boost factor, you'd have to run, if you want 6 or 2 or whatever, you'd have to run these machines, like up to 6. So if you want to do it for 2 founders nodes, you'd have to run 2 validators, and they have to have a different IP, and we don't support VPNs or stuff like that, so it has to be a separate machine. And, we are recommending bare metal machines. You might get away with virtual machines in the beginning, but trust me, as we move on, and we need all that performance, probably the virtual machines won't cut it in the end. So it's got to be bare metal. And, the easiest way would be do it with a hosting provider. So there will be hosting providers out there that do it under $100 per month for one of these machines that are really powerful, and you can also do it from home with the Answer One XD Plus. And the next few days we're going to have information about that. So we want to let that all sink in. It's a little bit complicated. Discuss with us on Discord. Go to Xandeum.com if you haven't joined our Discord yet, and go there and ask any questions that you might have. And so that's our incentivized DevNet, and we're super, super proud. After the launch last week, that we're launching our DevNet already, and we have so much interest, and you can do it with your node licenses that you already have, and you will continue to earn your rewards. But if you want that boost factor, and man, this is like super, super generous. I can't, think about that with a 50x boost factor, and the 50x will go up to all 6 nodes if you have 6, right? So in order to get that boost factor, you would have to buy 1 new node, right, after the DevNet launch. And if you're the first one after the DevNet launch, you get a 50x boost. If you're the second one, you still get 49, and these type of things. So in order to let that all sink in, right, that's now the latest information. We're going to put it in writing on that blog post that I mentioned, Xandeum.com, resources, blog. It's all going to be there. And I feel we need a week or two to let that sink in, right? So the new launch date won't be the 15th. So the 15th would have been a Tuesday. So if we add a week to that, that would be the 22nd, and if we add another week to that, that would be the 29th. So I would say let's start the DevNet launch on August 29th. So that gives us all a little bit of time to let this all sink in, and then open the node store for these boosts on August 29th, so that everyone can make an informed decision by then, and to actually make their decision. Do I want to buy another node? It just has to be 1 more founders node, right? And we still have 42% rebates on those. Plus we have up to 50x, 50x the rewards factor on up to 6 founders nodes, right? So that's gonna be millions and millions of Xand that we're giving away here, basically, right? Just for you guys to run your DevNet node, your physical node, to learn about Xandeum, right? To be part of this from the very beginning, because this is not just some sort of token that's out there and has some imaginary value or something. It is a real blockchain. We're starting from the very beginning with that fork of Solana, and adding our functionality as we go, and we will ask you, the DevNet operators, to update to the new releases, see if it all works with that new functionality that's in there. Give us all the feedback, and that is invaluable to build a community that is really in there from the beginning, right? For creating this thing. and you know, we just want to be thankful for that, and you know, giving a lot of Zand, really a lot of Zand for you guys to operate these DevNet nodes. So if you have any more questions, you know, ask them in the Discord. Brad, who you all know that are in our Discord, he will be spearheading the whole DevNet thing. He will be sending out a quick form where you can sign up to be a DevNet operator. And then, you know, there's going to be that race on August 29th to get new nodes if you want to do that, right? So if you don't buy a new node, it's all fine, and you keep getting your rewards that you're getting anyway for these node licenses. But I mean, it's additional cost for you to run that validator. It's additional effort and stuff like that. So we want to reward you, but at the same time, you know, we want to make sure that, you know, we raise a little bit more funds to help develop the chain and stuff like that. So so that's why we connect that to getting a new node, and you know, we're super generous with the rewards on that front. And yeah, thanks very much for listening. And this is my update. If you haven't done so yet, please give me that like. It is really important for the YouTube algorithm. So always do that. And, you know, the one thing I would ask you for that's super important also for our YouTube channel is commenting, right? So even if you have some questions, do ask them on Discord, but post them also here in the comments right under that YouTube video. And I see some more activity there, and I really love it. But let's give that a real boost, right? Let's make it a vibrant community also right here on YouTube, in order to, you know, just influence the YouTube algorithm to show these videos to even more people. All righty. Thanks for watching, guys.